So that was Mathematica. What else you got? Okay, the other one is Jupyter Notebooks. So I guess I haven't been a student for a bit, and I guess I just hope that maybe these are just becoming more and more common, at least at our college or in other types of engineering curriculums. But these things are awesome, and these things are just going to run the world one day. So kind of like how we did this one. Say you want to go extra credit on this, and you want to see, well, let me use this, and I'll test my abilities. You're going for it. What would you do? Well, how about you click the link? What happens if you click the link? Well, getting more at what I'm trying to get at, right? Let me Google that for you. So that's really what you should do if you're curious about doing something. So this comes to Jupyter. Jupyter is this fantastic thing that I guess I only kind of know how it works, but what it really is it lets you write notebooks. Like a Mathematica notebook, only this one's free, right? Cloud was free as well, but right, for full functionality, you would have had to like buy Mathematica, which I have, but it's totally not free. So you could try it in your browser, install Jupyter Lab. Jupyter Lab's the fancy smancy package. I actually don't know too much about it. I just use the Jupyter Notebook, and it's kind of a good way to do it. You can use your choice of language, right? So you can do R, Python, Julia, Scala if you don't know what that is. I mean, really these are great ways to actually like learn a programming language with a low commitment level of like you don't need to know about a compiler, or you don't need to do Vim or crazy text editors. You don't know VS Code. It's all just in your notebook, okay? And just the ability to program and like being a programmer is just so I think we're just falling behind a lot of other degrees because there are just kind of mechanics of programming that we're just not teaching enough for mechanical engineers and kind of our department. Like electrical engineers do it way better than us, so we need to get on this. So I have it. So we would just install Notebook. You try in your browser as well, but I would actually just install Notebook. Okay, and then you'd have to start making a notebook. So the way you do that is after you install a notebook, you can follow things. You'd go open your command. So maybe you've never seen it before. So let's say I was going to do this class. So first I would, let's say, make a directory. Okay. CD into this directory. What's in here? Well, nothing's in here, okay? But let's open up a Jupyter Notebook. So the way you do that is you go you always know how to spell it, Jupyter, and just type notebook. If you know how to do this right, it automatically does this all, and if you do it correctly, it's going to load up a kernel. It takes a little bit here. So first one takes a while. Once you do that, you'll get these checkpoints. So there's a joke going, localhost 88888 is the most common website visited ever because of these things. So now you're in another weird thing, kind of like maybe similar to the Mathematica notebook thing you have. You've never seen it before. I mean, it certainly looks empty. There's new, there's upload, there's running clusters, so looking advanced, and I don't need it to be too advanced, right? I just want you to maybe use this. So if you're going to make a notebook, you can do, I can do Julia. I keep talking about Julia for things. Julia is essentially just another competing language to Python that's kind of growing right now. And really its benefit is it's just a lot faster than Python. But I think Python's the easiest one to do, so maybe just click Python 3. We'll start a notebook, and we'll have it in the language of Python 3. Okay, so now you have in this environment. Maybe you've never seen this environment before. But basically what notebooks are is there's something called literate programming. Literate programming means you're writing up a document that's really it's code and text or markdown, formatted text, so it's human readable, but also has executable cells. So here's a cell, right? So kind of the same vibe, right? Let's make a markdown. So markdown is a very quick web portable text, editing software. So for a heading, right, use single hash, and you maybe call this homework 4. Okay, if you run this, see how it's just text and then below it is like code. So you can do the same thing, right? So that's a heading, like this is a subheading. Subheading, right? So it's pretty simple. If you're confused on Markdown itself, it's just right. It's just kind of quick, portable text, right? You can have headings and code things and a bunch of cheat sheets. So you could just go like cheat sheet Markdown, right? And it's just sort of right. It's almost its own type of program, but you just kind of like if I want to write a heading, this is how you do that. If you want to type bold text, you just type this, italic, block quotes. So Google that, see how you want to do. It's just a good way to format. Cool thing about this, though, is I can write math. So let's have, okay. So for math, it actually runs LaTeX. So you use these little money symbols, and as you'll see, boom, notice that. Can I zoom in? Okay, see how it text type formatted like that, and you can just kind of do all the things. So, okay, so it has a very nice math lookout. All of it's in there, right? So if maybe like math RM, right? You can have like a Reynolds number, right? That's just a font thing I did before, but lots of options, right? So that would just be how do you type in LaTeX? Well, here's my hint to you. Right, you'd probably just go LaTeX cheat sheet, right? So then you'd look at these, and then you could type math how you want it to be typed. So that's just right. You run things like that. Once you do that, you can write things. So then you have to actually like put programming in there. How would you do that? Well, since it's Python, you do like import numpy as np. So you run that. It's importing it. Right. So I've imported numpy as np. What else could you do? You can import collections. I like this one, collections. All kinds of things. Then you have Python available to you. And kind of the same way, I don't want to get into like how to program Python, right? Because there's so much extra credit on the line for this one. That's not my job. I just want you to maybe get rewarded if you go down the road of, I'll do some Markdown, I'll make some Python code, and then you can do it that way. So then notice like you can do some code cells, imports, calculations, and then you can even go back to Markdown. So if I go back to Markdown, I'm going like, well, okay, it's a Markdown cell. Right, so then see I've interspersed now text, code, calculations, more text, more code. Okay, so there's a lot more extra credit for this one because you're using Markdown and you're using Python. And say you wanted to save this, what would you save it as? Let's say I was doing this one. I go homework 2. Okay, rename it. Boom. It's a very bad Markdown. Save it. You have to make sure you save things in notebooks, by the way. They have some auto savings, but I just make sure to save as much as you can. Okay, so then you log out. So you actually logged out. All right, okay. So let's go back to that command line thing, right? As you can see, let's exit out of here. There's something in there now too, right? So there's my notebook. He already saved it in there, and this is really the, see, it's an IPython notebook. So interactive Python notebook is the file extension. And then these checkpoints are just right there. They're kind of extra or hidden files, and what they are is it kind of like let you start from exactly where you started off before. I actually don't need that. I just would need this file right here before. So you would submit this file that's in there. If you want to start again, you would go Jupyter notebook, and then you would just type the notebook you want to start. Okay, so I typed it. It's going to take a while again. So see how it's going to start again. And it's right where I left off. Okay, so you would just, again, discuss your thoughts, make code to achieve your thoughts, discuss the solutions, do MATLAB, plotlib, however you want to do it. Using the class to figure that out earns you extra credit. Okay, so this one's the most advanced version, right? It doesn't even have to be Python. You could do a Julia one. Like you said, you can pick the languages you want. I'm just trying to give you an incentive to use these things. Okay, so have fun with that if you decide to go for it. If you don't, well, you can make fun of me, so who cares?